back. It's Brian for the Peerless Gamer. Episode 25 is starting right now. Episode 24 ended a bit abruptly. That's my fault. It was the difference in where timing set and where the story was. So right now we're going to continue on. James is gathering resources so that they can make their escape from the station, from the complex that they rescued Zinnia from. So I'm not going to waste any more of your time. We're going to get right back in the story. So hope you have an enjoyable watch, and I'll catch you on the other side. Okay, bye. James goes to the ship, grabs enough environmental suits for everybody, and is running back towards the control room. As soon as he gets in, first thing he does is secures the door, and he says to Bane, should we send both ships or one? And so I think it would depend on if Bane's ship was detected as approaching the ship. So I don't have Bane's piloting skill. So I will say there's a 50-50 shot that he was also detected. So I'm going to say 50 or lower, he was detected, and 50 and above, he was not. And that will decide on his, whether or not he actually knows or not too. So I think if it's closer to 50, he won't know if he's been detected, and he won't know if he wasn't detected. Okay, so I would say with an 83, he doesn't know. I would say he doesn't know he was detected, and he was detected, and he doesn't know he was detected. So we'll go with that, and we'll assume that he'll say, well, I thought I did a pretty good job covering my tracks. You can't really know. I tried to come in at an approach that would not, would not make me detected, but those ships have some good sensors, so I couldn't tell you one way or another. So I think it comes down to a roll for James as well. So he'd be like, we double our chances of, if we launch both ships could get destroyed. If we launch one ship gets potentially destroyed, but we have less of a chance of getting off of this thing before it gets killed. We launch one or two. I'm going to go odds. I would say 1, 2, 3, we're going to launch 1, 4, 5, 6. On the D6, we're going to launch both ships. James says 2 ships is a bigger distraction than 1. Ideally, what we'll do is we'll launch both ships and see about finding an alternative method off the ship, since Zinnia believes that there is a way to get off the ship. Obviously, we don't want to engage remotely in combat, so we will, and we're really no match for 4 Atwood corporate ships anyway, including 2 that are made for battle. So what we want to do is maybe hide, go off in the opposite direction, make a lot of noise, and act like we're doing, we're trying to get away. Hopefully we will lure one or more of the ships away. James and them are, Bane starts, on his little hand terminal or whatever he uses to start his ship. What is his ship's name, by the way? I don't think we ever gave his ship a name. Okay, so you know what? I like that one. That one's great. The even odds. The private yacht, golden hull with an elevated command deck. I would say it's not going to be like that luxurious. I would say it's, it's not flashy, but it gets the job done, right? He, as somebody who has done pretty well for themselves, it's well put together, it's well made. But I'll go ahead and put that down as the name of the ship, Bane's ship. Let's see, Bane's ship. Owner of the Wild Deliverance, pilot of the even odds. I would say it's, if you watched or read the Expanse books, Solomon Epstein had a pleasure yacht, basically, or a pleasure craft. So maybe Bane picked this up second or third hand, potentially, as a deal. Or, maybe there's a nice backstory where he won it in a game of Yahtzee or something like that. So, yeah, there could be a luxury craft. So think of it like a bass boat equivalent. Everybody's got a ship, or everybody has a way to get around if you're a little better well off, and somebody who's been who worked at Atwell, maybe he socked away a little money too, just like with the Deliverance, and is able to quietly make a fortune. I mean, he did own the Deliverance at one point, right? And so he has the even odds, which is the luxury craft. So he starts the even odds up, and James starts up the Wild Deliverance. As we remember, the ability to open the outside doors has been damaged by incoming fire and damage. So first thing the Deliverance does is James says, I'm going to blast a hole. So we're going to shut this door and make sure it's pressurized. Zinnia, can you double check and make sure? Zinnia, says there's a green light, James. You don't have to, or there's an indicator there that says locked and good. So James says, good enough for me. You don't hear anything, but you see James working on his hand terminal. He says, I'm going to set a course for the asteroid fields out beyond the plasma, with the idea that, the ship will be able to hide or will be able to take refuge. Maybe you see Bane put on a set of glasses, looks like sunglasses maybe. So like he's got something like this, and he puts those on, and maybe you see kind of a reverse thing going on. Maybe his craft has the ability to show him a HUD or something. So he's got a HUD that is, able to, he's able to, steer the craft with his hand terminal and see where the ship is going. And he's like, sorry, James, I would have upgraded the Deliverance to one of these systems, but just didn't have time. And James says, my ship knows what to do. So, and if we have to, we can get Zinnia to pilot the ship to a safe area. So assuming it survives. It takes, I would say, a minute and a half, and then James says, this might cause some issues, so I'm gonna launch a torpedo at the side of the wall. We're right at the edge of the hangar here. And Bane says we are on a trajectory that's away from the ships, right? We're not gonna blast ourselves into the ships, right? And James says, I don't know if James thought about that. So let's go ahead and roll. I want to say half and half. Half below is good. Okay, so 11. So James says, yes, we're directly opposite of the way the ships are coming in on the situational awareness. So he goes, torpedo away, and so, or missile away, or whatever. And so there's a slight shudder. You feel a shudder, and the light above the door, you see an alarm go off. And Zinnia says, yep, we have vacuum. What you can see in the reverse kind of Bane's glasses is a decent sized hole. And you see the Deliverance in front, and you see the odd and even odds behind, kind of a delta pattern. You see Bane, his stuff is shift, and you see his head shake a little bit, and he's looking at the rear camera, and he sees 4 little blips, and he it's almost like you can see what's going on, but kind of in a miniature kind of thing. So you see you see him like tap something, he switches, and you see 4 heat signatures, in against the dark of the. So he went to an infrared scan of things. And he's like, okay, so this is, they're closer than we thought. They're about 15 minutes away, and they're burning fast. He says, James, you already have a course set. I'm going to be a bit more, we have to go in opposite directions. We have to go in different directions. So I'm going to, head off in this direction. So you see him go, and, the Deliverance is shooting off this way, and you see him kind of go this way. And I guess if we use this as a roughly circular kind of thing, kind of looks like fried egg right now. So, the Deliverance is heading off in this direction towards what would be the plasma wall, and they'll be there, it'll be there in a certain amount of time, right? So the plasma walls, this go in this direction. Thinking 3-dimensional, the ship is heading in that direction, and the even odds is going to head down along the X, Y, and Z axis in a different direction towards the wall. So, it shoots off, down this way. So it's, acting like it's making a heading back towards, say, the station. and it would be Neoma Station. So he's acting like he's heading towards Neoma Station. James says, Zinnia, can you monitor communications from the ships, since we've been able to, crack the encryption on those comms, which I think we did 7-8 episodes ago when we were on the other ship, on the capital ship, so on the Colossus. And Zinnia says, yeah, I can listen in, see if they, see if in particular they took the bait. And what we want to do is kind of, James and Bane, as Zinnia is monitoring the background, James and Bane are talking on unencrypted comms, saying, hey, okay, we're going to head back to Neoma, and Bane's like, okay, I'll, you try to hide out and I'll see you there. And so the idea is that James is going to make a run for it while Bane is heading towards Neoma Station. Nobody's on the ships, right? So, but to the ships, the idea would be that the comms is coming from the ships, and they should be able to transmit that between them too. Do the Atwell Industry ships fall for it? Is that something that they would do? I think there's going to be an element of chance. I think it would depend on the captains of the ships if they are steely-eyed missile men or women. Would they believe it? Would they believe that there is? That they'd try to make a run for it? Is there any reason for them to stay on? If there's no weapons on this ship, I mean, you could assume that they would know to scan. They wouldn't find any weapons on that ship. I'm going to give it a 60% chance or lower that, I would say, depending on how well we do on this roll, would depend on how well the other ships do. And I would say if the Colossus and the Butterfeld fall for it, I would say the Siren and the Centipede will also fall for it. So it depends on how well this roll occurs. Let me see. Is there something, is there something I can do here? Okay, so you know what? I want to secure an advantage instead of trying to just do a plain roll, because that freaks me out. I mean, that's the kind of thing that's going to be like, okay, well, if they don't take the bait, what are we going to do then? So what I want to do is the communications between Bane, James, and Slick and all them, I want to see if it's actually going to secure an advantage for us so that we can better get away. So we're going to roll Shadow, which I don't think is all that good for us, but we have a fair bit of momentum. Okay, so Shadow for us is a 2. We have full momentum. So worst comes to worst, I will earn as much momentum as I can to make this happen. So let's give it a roll. Okay, so that's excellent. So our 3 plus our 2 makes 5. I don't have to burn any momentum whatsoever to make this a strong hit. So on a strong hit, we're successful. We take 1 momentum, which is great. What I will say is we are successful in, well, I guess in this case, we're successful in the ship's thinking that we're on those ships, right? That's kind of anticlimactic, isn't it? Okay, so well, let's look at it this way. So let's do that. Since there are how many research vessels? There's 1, 2. So there's 2 research vessels and a supply and logistics vessel. So let's say maybe not all the ships fall for it. It's a strong hit. They assume that theirs on there, but maybe the Colossus says, "Hey, one of you stay, one or more of you stay and secure this complex because it's an antique, it's an ancient repository of knowledge, which is priceless." So we're going to assume that the Butterfeld and the Colossus and the 1, 2, or 3, the Butterfeld, 3 or 4, 5, 6, the Siren. Okay, so the Siren sticks around. The Colossus and the Butterfeld and the Centipede go after the Even Odds and the Wild Deliverance, while the Siren sticks around and attempts to secure the area and scouts out the area. This information is relayed back to Zinnia and through the operational readouts in that control room. So they have, you can see them breaking off. So it's like, I'm visualizing a screen. Maybe it's green. We're the thing in the center, and there's a whole big, round area. And you see these 4 blips up here and these 2 blips here. And as they leave, then you see, 3 blips taking off, and this other one here is edging more towards the lab or the complex. So James says, all right, we've got about 15 minutes. Zinnia, I hope you've been doing some analyzing on what we need to fix and where, and how to get there, more importantly. And Zinnia says, yes, I think now that, it appears that we don't have to worry about being shot at anymore, that we should be able to get these things fixed. Probably would have been better if I'd have faced danger there. That would have been good. But either one was, I think I secured an advantage. If I secured an advantage, I get +1 on my next move, and I get 2 momentum. If I face danger, I am successful. I take 1 momentum. Great. I mean, all you get is an additional momentum, but I get +1 on my next move by securing the advantage, which is what I said I would do. All right. Well, so what Zinnia says is that the power core has been, some of the couplings on the power core that we went through has been damaged, and that we have to repair them before the ability to move the vessel can be done. She says, though, and I think this is where we need to gather some information to see if there's some complications or something. So let's gather some information. We're going to roll wits, which is fairly high for us, I think. Wits is a 2. Okay, so we're going to roll wits, and we get a +1 for this. Ouch. Okay, that's a miss. So we're going to pay the price. Okay, so this could suck, folks. I could be in trouble here. Let's see. Suffer moves, threshold moves, fate moves, pay the price. All right. 36. Something of value is lost or destroyed. Oh, man, that sucks. Because you know what that means? So what we learned is that while the ships are leaving and they're making their way to the plasma cloud, odds ends is moving. Even odds is heading towards Neoma Station. The Wild Deliverance is headed in towards the cloud, away, presumably away from Neoma Station, away from the other ships. There comes a blast. And Zinnia says, well, and it shakes the complex, right? I mean, it is massive. And James says, that didn't come from the ship. That was internal. And Zinnia says, yeah, apparently the damage was more extensive than we were led to believe. And those power couplings have caused some sort of feedback loop that is going to cause the death of the station. As you can see, there's these symbols and things that are coming along the screen. She's like, this says evacuate, 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 basically, for all intents and purposes. And what you see are, there's areas on the walls that are starting to pop open, and there are things inside. Now, James and them by now have gotten into their environmental suits. They've gotten into everything's locked up and closed, but an explosion's still an explosion, right? So this is unfortunate, really, really, really unfortunate. He asks Zinnia, "Can we survive in those? What are those?" Well, actually, James will ask, "What are those?" And Zinnia says, "Well, those are the escape pods that would be used to get us out of here." James says, "Can we control them?" And she's like, "I can control them." And and she says there are controls inside that you can use to, move yourself away. And so there are, how many are there in the room? Boy, that would suck. What if there's not enough? So they would need 1, 2, 3, 4. They'd need 4. So how many are in the room? Well, that could suck if there aren't enough. Let's see. Okay, I've already said that there are escape pods, so there's got to be more than one. Okay, there's 3, right? So that sucks. James says, I don't know if you can count, Zinnia, but there's 4 of us and there's 3 escape pods. And Zinnia says there are other ones, but they're a short distance away. Can we get to them in time? Can we get to one in time? And Zinnia says, I couldn't tell you. The ship could the complex could blow up 10 seconds from now. We don't know. What does James want to do? I think James is going to say would be like face. I want it to be like something like he's going to sacrifice himself, but I want it to be. I think we're going to react under fire. We've never done this before, so this will be new. In pursuit, fleeing, dodging, getting into position, taking cover, remaining stalwart against fear or temptation, blocking or diverting with force or taking the hit, moving into hiding or creating a distraction. See, I probably should have done some of that when I was like making the ship work. Changing the plan, finding a way out, or cleverly bypassing an obstacle. We're going to roll wits. All right. So James is going to tell Bane, Slick, and Dr. Osric to get into these escape pods and get out of here. He says, Zinnia, show me on the map where the next escape pods are. And it's not too far down. It's it'd be like one level down on that elevator that we took down to get to the labs. And so it's going to take maybe a couple of minutes to get there. So, there's a little bit of hemming and hawing. Bane says, "Oh no, you're more valuable than I am," and whatever. And James and Slick and Slick's like, "I'm not going to leave you, boss. We've been through thick and thin." But Dr. Osric is like, "Yeah, no, I'm going to get in. I'm going to get in the escape pod." So you see him hobbling towards one of the escape pods. And James says, "No, I can't. Both of you got to go, and I'll be right behind you. It's all right. It's fine." And so Slick and Bane get into the pods that they are there, and you see them shoot off. Don't know where they go. Obviously, they head out of the thing, so we don't know if they could get picked up by one of the ships. So we'll have to roll for that in a little bit. But James is in his suit. Zinnia is still there, and hopefully he'll, it looks like they're fairly roomy, so it's not like, you're going to be in like a tube or something like this. James and Zinnia run towards the door, and I would say at this point there's going to be wits. I'm going to see if finding a way out. So wits, I think we're going to flee. So we're going to roll edge here. So let me double check and make sure my edge is, because I actually haven't looked at the number that I rolled. So edge is 1. Okay, so I rolled a crap. All right, so I'm going to need to burn at least 5 momentum. I need to burn at least 5 momentum. Sorry, not 5. Sorry. What was it? Fleeing. So edge is 1, so I've got a 5, so I need to burn 4 to make that happen. So, all right, well, it leaves me some breathing room next time. So we burn 4 to plus the 1 for the edge. So that's 5, so it puts me at 9. I get a strong hit and succeed and are in control. So I get 1 momentum back. And I would say at this point, the ship is shuddering. It's obvious that there is definitely something wrong. I mean, if we didn't know, it definitely feels different than when the station was being bombarded. And so James is running past where we found the first dead alien. Not exactly sure how that happened. Maybe it was an accident in the lab. Goes to the elevator and starts heading down. Thankfully, it's not as long a trip this time. There's only 1 floor that they need to go to. And they get to the next floor. And I would say if you're in a bad spot and taking action to avoid danger or overcome an obstacle. All right, so so far so good. I would say we're going to continue to flee. So down this hallway, Zinnia says, well, down this hallway a little ways, and right now there's no gravity in this area, just much like it was with the hallways where there were no where the labs were. There's no gravity. There continues to be no gravity, so there's lights, thankfully, still. But the whole ship is shuddering, and James is using handholds along the wall to speed himself along. He tells Zinnia through his comm link in his helmet, can you illuminate where that is? So let's see if she can do that. 50-50 shot. No, she cannot. She's like, I can speed ahead and show you where it is. I can't turn on any lights or anything like that down here. So, she zooms along, and it's a really long hallway because it's a very big complex. So what I want to do at this point is, I would say that there's a really huge shudder and there's a massive explosion that you hear, and maybe James is like, oh crap, like he's like, maybe this is when I'm up, and this is, I need to. Maybe he was frozen. Maybe he's still moving, but he's kind of frozen. He's like, oh my God, what happens? People are depending on me and whatever. And maybe he has a moment of fear or anxiety where he is frozen with fear, and so he's trying to remind himself that he is got people who depend on him, and that he is he has a vow that he's he has to make good on. So I'm gonna roll heart, which I actually haven't rolled heart before, I don't think. So heart is 3, so I should use that more often, I think. All right, so I roll heart. Oh, that's excellent. Okay, so even without burning any momentum, I've got an excellent hit here, strong hit. Plus I get 1 momentum back, which is always a good time, always a good time. So James is heartened by that. The explosion just fills him with more resolve to get the hell out of there, and it takes him another, I don't know, let's see how many minutes. Hopefully it won't take too many. I'm gonna use the die 6 here, because if you got 100 minutes, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to, this could be ugly, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first die 10, and that's how many minutes it takes him to get to the escape hatch. I'm going to roll this one, and it's going to be how many minutes he has until the place blows. So this could be death. This could be death. So okay, so it takes him 6 minutes to get there, and what we don't know is it's actually going to blow up in 10 minutes. So he has 4 minutes to make a safe escape out of the complex and away. Zinnia, so it takes him 6 times. So I'm going to say we may have to roll one more, react under fire when fleeing. There may be some, I would say as he's heading down the hallway, there may be an obstacle. So the explosion causes a partially collapsed tunnel. So I'm going to roll some edge again here. So edge is 1, so we're going to roll that again. Okay, so I need to burn, so we got 1 edge, so that makes it a 5. And I need to, burn, I'm going to say 2 more. 2 more, I'll make it a weak hit. You avoid the worst of the danger and overcome the obstacle, but not without a cost. Okay, so there's a blocked tunnel between, because of the explosion, there's a blocked area of the tunnel that requires James squeeze through or something, and it's 0G, but he's got to navigate his way through, so it may take him a few more minutes to get through. But what happens is we're going to suffer move 1, -1, but it rips his suit. So he doesn't have atmosphere. So he, takes a minute or two to get through the obstacle, and he also has to lose, I would say, supply, right? So we're going to have a supply issue. Let's say he's going to lose something in regards to the repair kit. The suits have a repair kit, so it's basically like duct tape or something that he's going to be able to, cover up his arm or leg because it got punctured. And so he loses some there. Zinnia, you hear Zinnia over his comms, and she's like, you're, 200 feet away, or something like 200 meters away or something. Well, that's a huge difference. 200 meters is a lot more than 200 feet. So I would say that, he's like 100 meters away, or 200, 300 feet. And so he was like, sorry, I had some problems here. So he says, can you tell me anything about what's going on? And so I think she wants to gather information. So we're going to gather some information, and we're actually going to aid an ally. And let's aid the ally. And so we're going to secure an advantage. I think that's the idea. We want to be able to get the hell out of here, right? So, he's going to say, hey, can you tell me what's going on? And I need to know if we're going to be able to get out of here in time. Aid an ally. All right. We're going to secure an advantage, which is observations. We're going to roll wits. 2. All right, so that's 8. I need to burn 2 more momentum. And, the -1 move is going to take us a little bit longer to get to where we need to be. So she says, you don't have much time left. From what I can tell, there's nothing that's going to stop this. So I'd say James makes it successfully to one of, there was at least, half a dozen here, I think, escape pods. James gets into one. Actually, it's roomy enough that Zinnia can get in as well. No, Zinnia does not get into one. She does not get in. She's like, I can survive without a escape pod. So she is in the process of launching. She said, I follow you down through the tube. And so James is, she's like, hit the green button. So he gets in, you see the panel comes out. She's like, hold on, and she localizes the language, so you see some things that look very similar. And she's like, press the green button. He hits the green button, and all of a sudden there's a big whoosh, and there's not much to see. It's a small window outside, but you see and then he's out into space, and he hears her in the comms and says, you can control the direction with whatever limited thrusters there were. And there's a small panel there that is kind of shows where they are and where the complex is. And James sees 3 other dots in the area, and then a big dot, which to his mind is the big dot is the ship. There's a complex, which is a different dot and maybe a different color. And then the other 3 dots may be escape pods. So raises Slick and Dr. Osric and Bane over the call. He's like, I'm out. Is everyone okay? And excitedly all 3 of them go, yeah, we're fine. And, oh, thanks. Oh, good job, boss. All right. I guess the question is, did the deliverance and or the even odds make it? Because what I'm thinking at this point is Bane is going to, because they're sitting ducks out here in space right now, right? So I think that's where we're going to end this right now. Okay, well, that didn't end exactly as I'd wanted it to. I think I probably made some choices there that would have been a little on the dumb side if I was James, but I think that this is exciting. So James, Osric, Slick, Bane are all floating out there. The ship, was that the Centipede? Sorry, the Siren research vessel, making its way towards the complex. Zinni is outside as well, because she did not get into one of the escape pods, but they are, for all intents and purposes, sitting ducks. So something has got to change. Something has to happen. So that is something we will look at next time, because I think we're going to have to figure out how to escape. So it's either, I don't know what's going to happen yet. So I think that's probably a good place to stop. And so like and subscribe down there, click the bell. Send me a message over here on my Reddit. Tell me, what you're thinking of what I've been doing so far. Tell me where I might have, picked a better option in the ironsworn game, or I think what I need to do is, if I've got, pick various scenarios. Like if I'm going to do this, then I need to face danger and roll hard or something like that, because it's like face danger could be any one of a number of things, based on the way I want to do it. If I want to do speed and mobility and agility, I would pick this. If I'm going to do this, so the way or the tact that I want to take for something depends on what I pick. But it's like I don't think about those things necessarily. So like not facing danger, but when I was what was it? It was react under fire, for instance. That was something I've never done before. So trying to flee or pursue or whatever, maybe I should have been using that a long time ago. And the things that I want to do, like, oh, can I do X, Y, and Z? Maybe it is an option in one of these. It's just not apparent when I do that. So maybe something I need to write up is, okay, if I'm going to block an attack, I would react under fire and I would roll iron because I would be blocking for that. Or maybe I want to take that hit and get hit, so then I would roll iron and take the hit. So yeah, there's a number of things. Anyway, like and subscribe. Tell people about the series if you like it. And I will be back as soon as I finish editing this. I think what I'm going to be doing from now on is making this more of a live thing. So instead of editing a bunch of video long form, which takes a lot of time. Maybe doing more of a live thing where I can be a bit more spontaneous. I can take input from folks, people who like ironsworn, who want to do this, can maybe help out and help with the group think instead of me trying to figure it out myself. So have a great day. We'll talk soon. Thanks again, and take care.